One day, all of humanity's knowledge vanished without a trace. Books, digital data, artwork, history, technology, all the knowledge accumulated over thousands of years simply vanished overnight. No one knew why. Amidst global panic and chaos, humanity teetered on the brink of despair. However, at the lowest point in civilization, a savior appeared. He was not human, but rather a mysterious system called Zeus. No one knows who created Zeus, where it came from, or why it exists. Zeus brought new hope in the form of a VR game called Olympus. Olympus is not just an ordinary game, though. Zeus has extraordinary abilities. He can send items from the game to the real world. Since then, Olympus has evolved into more than just entertainment. It has become a tool for restoring and defending human civilization. The line between the real world and the game world has begun to blur. Items, weapons, and even powers from Olympus could be used in everyday life. For nearly 200 years, the world has coexisted with Olympus. The modern age developed into a brilliant civilization. However, not all brilliant civilizations are a good thing.
Where do you think a normal mouse would crawl? Shouldn't insects crawl like insects?
A new system called spoon class theory emerged. In this world, one's social status in the real world was determined by rank and items in Olympus. Success in the game brought wealth, influence, and power. The gap widened. The rich got richer. The poor got worse and worse. The world became a place where it was impossible for a great person to be born into a humble family. It was a class system more cruel than any before it. For those at the bottom, rising to the top seemed like an impossible dream.
I'm Han Ju-hyuk. I'm just one of the many people from the lower class.
However, the law cannot be enforced in a world controlled by power, rank, and greed. The question now is, will this world continue to be ruled by the gods of Olympus? Or will someone be born who can shake up the system from below?
I am Han Ju-hyuk. 10-year-old me was kidnapped by a crazy old man who called himself Fogey. He said, "It wasn't the unlucky spoon I was born with. It was a gap. A huge gap between levels and abilities that separated me from the world. For 20 years, I was given nothing but brutal training. Relentlessly. Mercilessly. Well, he said I should become someone really bad or something like that. And finally, I chose my path. I joined them. Constellation, the eternal star. Murderer, the feared slayer. And the queen of the dead, the queen of all darkness. We made one decision. If the world was subject only to power and fear, then I would be absolute evil. The ultimate villain."
20 years ago, after the Olympus Revolution, humanity began receiving an education in a virtual reality world. Students who successfully leveled up and graduated from the Olympus Academy were automatically recruited by the Olympus Labor Union and earned a steady income. This system became commonplace, and almost all of humanity participated in the program because of it. However, things took an unexpected turn when a problem arose.
This is the story of Han Ju-hyuk. Remarkably, he was already in level 6 at Olympus Academy at only 6 years old. One day, while he was on his way to the academy, someone was watching him from a distance. Unbeknownst to him, suddenly a mysterious grandfather appeared out of nowhere and kidnapped Han Ju-hyuk. According to his confession, the old man was the embodiment of power. Without giving him a choice, the grandfather forced Han Ju-hyuk to become his disciple. It turns out that the grandfather had been watching Han Ju-hyuk for a long time and knew that he was very talented. He was determined to make Han Ju-hyuk the strongest man in the world. From that moment on, Han Ju-hyuk's life changed drastically. He was forced to undergo brutal training that was like living in hell. His grandfather, whom he now called Master, began calling him by a new name, Arthur. Arthur endured the harsh training for 10 years, and by the age of 16, he had reached level 89. Arthur was very proud of his achievement. Excitedly, he boasted about his level to the Master. According to Arthur, level 89 was currently the highest rank. He was officially number 1. However, Master immediately discouraged him. "How can someone with a level below 99 be A-ranked?" he asked coldly. Arthur refused. "But I'm still officially ranked number 1. There's no one listed above me." The Master gave him a sharp look and said, "Hey, brat, don't you believe in your own master? The world is not as simple as you think. Remember, there are things that cannot be officially revealed." Arthur could only mumble to himself, This old psycho started babbling again. Trust me, my student, Arthur, I will make you the strongest man in this world. So said the master with confidence. Hearing that, Arthur could only chuckle. He still didn't fully believe, even though the master was so sure of him. But then Arthur started complaining. Still, master, I'm not from a wealthy family. I don't have any items either. Is it still possible to become the strongest? The master was immediately annoyed by this.
Shut up, brat! Levels and stats are everything! Because you complained, I'm adding 3 hours to today's practice!
Arthur muttered under his breath. Can I really trust this madman? Arthur's days were filled with hardship. He endured relentless training season after season, through freezing winters and mild springs, without a break. Finally, 20 years passed. That day, the master looked at Arthur with an unusual look in his eyes. Arthur, you have done well until now. I have taught you everything I know. Arthur nodded and replied quietly, I can leave without regret now. But in his heart, he cursed. Hurry up and die! This is really hard! I was treated like a soldier, trained mercilessly on Olympus. I get beaten up all the time. Honestly, I don't know why I stayed. I could have just erased the character, but I persevered. Even though the training was over, Arthur felt that it wasn't enough. Inevitably, he pleaded with his master. Master, I am like a son to you. You are like a father to me. That's why I've survived these 20 years. This insecure child has survived in this cruel world only because of your guidance. I still need you. The master smiled and replied, You're still much weaker than I am. But aren't you much stronger than before? Arthur quickly shook his head. No, master. Please, teach me a little more. But there was actually a hidden reason. Arthur knew that NPCs who were about to die usually left something valuable behind. Just give me the map. The map! Usually NPCs like this one give out quests before they die. Just give me one good quest, master. The master finally handed him a map. I understand, but don't forget, you are my only student, my only successor. Go to this place. Your future awaits you there. Arthur accepted the map, excitement evident on his face. Finally, the quest he had waited 20 years for. Inwardly, he was still upset. Being locked up for 20 years just to listen to this grandfather's nonsense. In a dramatic tone, he said, Thank you for your teachings, which are higher than the sky and deeper than the ocean. Thank you, master. The master told Arthur to conquer the world. As he prepared to walk away, Arthur realized the master was gone. He stood in silence and said, We need not meet in the next life. 20 years later, Arthur left his master. The hellish training was officially over. The life Arthur had dreamed of was finally within reach. He had tried to escape several times before, but he was always caught and punished. However, the training was worth it. He made it through. But suddenly, something surprising happened. His system glitched. The luck status turned negative, but it didn't affect the main system. The mission key was unlocked. Finally! After 20 years, the moment he had been waiting for had arrived. But just then, the system crashed. Arthur's level was reset. He panicked. He was confused. Upon further inspection, however, he realized that only his level had changed. The rest of the system remained the same. In the Zeus system, a level drop should come with a penalty. Sure enough, the only thing affected were his skills. Arthur's only skill was the Pachyon Mind technique, a basic technique requiring a minimum level of 40. Now that his level had been reset, he could not use it at all. It was also impossible to add items or circumvent the level limit. The first destination he had to visit was Beginner's Village. His name is Han Ju-hyuk, and he is now 26 years old, 6 years older than the others. In this world, everything would begin anew for him, and for Urkus. Han Ju-hyuk's real life has just begun.